the American dream,
Yes.
which is now the American nightmare. We grew up thinking that the way to generate wealth is to purchase properties.
The whole system is rigged. It's getting worse and worse, Sheikh.
It was affordable after World War II for the reasons that we've mentioned. Now it's not affordable. Why?
So there are 4 primary reasons, Sheikh. Number 1 being...
Because we're going to talk about Dubai in a second, right? But that's why there's such a big contrast. Like here, the country, the leader of the city is a CEO.
Sheikh, what in America takes 8 years, here it takes 8 minutes.
So you believe we are in a recession, as in...
Either we are or we're very close to it.
I think this is a time where the middle class has to act. If you have savings, you have money. I want to talk about how those who actually have money can capitalize on this. And those are in the middle class right now, what they could possibly do to protect themselves. Because this is a squeeze now.
That's a deep question, Sheikh.
If you're a 7 to 9 figure Muslim entrepreneur, you've likely been part of masterminds that have been dead. You probably paid thousands to join a ghost network where half the people aren't even at your level. That's why I have spent the last year working tirelessly to build the best mastermind for 7 to 9 figure Muslim entrepreneurs in existence. There are no newbies. Everyone inside is operating at the highest level in their field. And we vet everyone meticulously before we let them in. The value that comes from the brothers in the room is unlike everything that you're going to see in the market today. Deals happen over dinner. A conversation saves you millions. Another can make you millions. Bottlenecks vanish in minutes. Partnerships are built on trust and a common goal. So if this is something that interests you and you qualify, click the link below to learn more. And hopefully I'll see you on the inside, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Guys, welcome back to the Muslim Money Show. This is that show where we show you how to create and generate generational wealth in a way that is halal through investments. We have our investment expert here, Brother Sam. Look, today's a very, very important discussion, especially on the back of this great achievement that Allah has blessed you and your investors with.
Amin.
We want to talk about the American dream,
Yes.
which is now the American nightmare.
Yep.
And actually now it's the Dubai dream.
Yes.
It's the Dubai dream now. And that is this whole concept of purchasing properties, right? Buying a house. We grew up thinking that the way to have equity, have assets, to generate wealth is to purchase properties and then to do different things with it. And historically speaking, this was only for the elite.
Yeah.
This is only for the upper class. For millenniums, right? You had the aristocracy, the lords, they would own land. And then there were peasants who would work on their land and pay rent.
Yeah.
You didn't have the middle class.
Yes.
The middle class after World War II came about and the economic situation was an anomaly. It was a historical anomaly. This had not happened before.
Never.
And I think people treated it like it was going to be something that is permanent. But now the middle class is disappearing again.
Yes.
And we're going back to landlords and peasants.
Yes.
And this is why the American dream is now becoming the American nightmare. And in Dubai, it's becoming the Dubai dream because the wealthy are using this as an opportunity to basically just generate more wealth. Because when these type of situations happen, there's a massive transfer of wealth from a particular class to the others. So if the middle class is disappearing,
yes,
that means you're going to have more wealthy people and more poor people. And what you want to share with us today is how to make sure we end up in the wealthy category as opposed to the peasants.
Yes, Sheikh. So we can play the game or we can play the victim.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to choose about we have to play, right?
So explain to us historically exactly how we got into this situation. Because I think history is so important. When you understand how things were, how they were supposed to be, why they are the way that they are now, it helps you really understand the gravity of the situation that we're in.
Yes. So I think 3 things happened, Sheikh, post-World War II.
Okay.
That have never happened before in the history of mankind. Number 1 is a lot of soldiers, and we're talking about the US, a lot of soldiers came back from the war with money. They got paid good money. They came back. They had money saved up, right? Second thing that happened, women went to the workforce post-World War II because when the men were out, somebody needed to produce in your country, in your home country. So women went into workforce. When men came back, they did not leave the workforce. They stayed in the workforce.
Doubled up.
Yeah, so the income doubled up, right?
With savings.
With savings.
So active income is double and you've got savings.
More savings as well.
You've been at war for 5-6 years.
Yes.
You've just been saving money.
Absolutely.
You've not been using it.
Absolutely, Sheikh. Then the third thing that happened, government encouraged, okay, now that these guys have savings, their income has doubled up, let us come up with a product where we can help these guys buy houses. So they come up with attractive mortgage products where you can pay off the house in 30 years, 30-year loan, the American dream, let's own a house. And government incentivized the developers, the builders, to build a lot of units, flood the housing market with units and houses that are geared towards the middle class. So if you look at America, like Michigan, where I'm from, all the 1,000 square foot houses, 1,100 square foot houses, 1,200 square foot houses were post World War II, 700 square foot houses. If you look at the mansions in Detroit, 5,500, 6,000 square feet, these were built pre-World War II for the wealthy, because there's no middle class. So there was no demand for builders to build anything for the middle class. Right? So now that they're getting incentive, they started building houses. So there's a housing influx coming. You're getting mortgage. There's true income and there's money saved up. So these three reasons led to this new class who started buying homes.
Okay. So obviously homes are expensive, right? And I think the average price of a house was 2x plus your annual salary.
Yeah, 2.2x.
2.2.
So roughly 2x, yes.
So just double your annual income. Right?
And that's the price of the house.
That's the price of a house. Now it's like 5x plus.
Yes, it's like 5.9x actually, Sheikh. Almost 6.
So in essence, what you're saying is that it was affordable to buy a house, right? Because people had savings, and there are two people that are actively bringing money into the house. So your active income is doubled, one, and you've got savings.
Yep.
And then they're giving you leverage, right?
Yep.
Which is obviously haram because of the ribba that's involved in mortgages.
Yep.
But they're now making it easier for you.
Commercially, they're making it easier for you. You don't have to afford the whole house, only 3%, 5% of the house, and we'll take care of the rest.
So in essence, it's affordable. Now, today, it's not affordable.
No.
Which is why I think
50% of home buyers, Sheikh, even just like as recently as 2010, 50% of home buyers were primary residents. Like they're going to live in that house.
Okay.
Middle class.
Okay.
Now it's only 24% as of 2024.
So 15 years, it's gone down by more than half.
More than half, yes. So now only one family out of every 4 family that buys a house belongs to the middle class.
In 15 years?
In only 15 years. So it's going like your starting was very powerful, Sheikh. It's basically going back to the normal. What happened in the last 70 years was not normal. It was a fluke. It was a historical fluke. So if you look at the historical period, we don't have to go back 5,000 years. Let's go back to 16th century, where you could trace title deeds. People are selling lands, doing things. Things were getting organized, right? Throughout the world. If you look at the last 500 years of history, this is the first time middle class was created.
So middle class never existed before them.
Middle class never existed before.
And maybe they could have saved it if they didn't get involved themselves in ribba.
Yes. Allahu alam, Sheikh. Absolutely. Absolutely. And look, Sheikh, if Allah forbids something, there will be wisdoms far beyond our comprehension.
It's like zina, right? In the moment, it's delightful. A person enjoys, but then after that,
all the regret, everything.
All the regret. You've got the girl pregnant. Now you've got STDs. Like,
yeah.
As in, all of the pain comes after.
Yeah.
But, you don't see that in the moment.
Absolutely, Sheikh. And Allah, being all wise and all knowing, He knows what's good for us, Sheikh. So sometimes even if that's why I think the whole ribba argument as Muslims is just like, remember, Sheikh, I think we should touch on that. We did that whole episode on, commercially speaking, also why home ownership currently does not make sense. Then remember like all the comments on the videos where people justifying ribba. And like the whole video is about how even it commercially doesn't make sense. But we shouldn't even have to do that discussion. That's what I'm saying. Now that I'm thinking, it's such a petty discussion.
Yeah.
Why do we have to explain from a commercial perspective that ribba doesn't make sense? Why? It's just Allah said like it's not allowed. And He is all-knowing. He knows something I don't know. Khalas.
It's depressing in so many ways because you lose your akhirah and you lose your dunya in the process.
SubhanAllah, Sheikh.
So coming back to this point right here, right, of affordability, why is it that why are we even talking about whether you can afford a house or not if we've already established that commercially it doesn't make sense?
Because that's the American dream that's being sold, right, Sheikh? And I think the question would be, then if that's the American dream they're selling, why aren't they able to support it anymore? Like what's causing to drop from 50% to 24% in 15 years. What were the causes? What happened?
But the point that I'm getting at is that coming back to our episode when you articulated that commercially it doesn't make sense, right? So, okay, cool. Even if you can't afford it, if you were to be able to afford it, even that 24% who manage,
I see.
Even that 24% of the middle class, or the bulk of the middle class who's in that 24% are able to afford it, it's still a loss for them. Just quickly mention why that is for those that might have missed that episode.
Yes, Sheikh. And I think the other episode also probably will come out by the time they're watching this, where we explain the whole, where Robert Kiyosaki teaches the leveraging is good because, your net worth goes up and so forth and so on. So they can refer back to the video because it's a very slippery slope. And actually, historically, more times you lose money just because we were in a winning ride. And if my memory just goes back to the time from 2010 forward, then I don't know what happened pre-2010 or in the recession time, right? So I always think like I'm going to always win if I'm leveraging because I've not looked at enough history. If you look at market cycles, most of the time it's a slippery slope and most of the time you're going to lose if you're leveraging, and if you're leveraging at such high rates that's going at right now. There's a big fight going on in the city I'm from, city of Warren, because they're doing oppression. They have increased the property taxes of middle-class people, I think their median income of that city is like $60,000 a year, okay? But the property taxes is $10,000-$12,000 a year. And from that $60,000, you're getting taxed 37% federal income tax. So let's say 40% just to make the math easy. So 24,000 is taking off of that 60,000 your income tax. You're left with how much, Sheikh? 36,000. Then on your taxed money, you're paying property tax. On your taxed money, you're paying property tax. On your taxed money, when we're going out with your kids, which is not safe to do anyways, but let's say you go out with your kids, on your taxed money, you're paying sales tax. And with the property taxes being $10,000, $12,000 a year in that city where the median household income is $60,000, what are you getting in return? Still full of crime, full of hate. There's no security. Nobody feels welcomed. Everything is falling apart. There's a big vandalism as well in that city in the first masjid of that city that was established in 2007. There's a vandalism recently because they're expanding the masjid. So some cuckoo came and just vandalized the whole place. And that's what you get by paying $12,000 in property taxes. So people have no problem in paying premium. Alhamdulillah, Sheikh, we're in our office space here. We're paying premium rent here. If I'm going to go buy a villa in Palm Jumeirah, I'm going to pay premium price for it. But we get premium service in return because the value has to be so much more than what you pay. People are paying $2 for a water bottle because the value you get out of drinking water is far more than $2.
Put deen aside, if people just understood this one point, they would all leave the UK and the USA.
Oh, 100%, Chef. Yeah, there's
nothing there.
Yes.
Even from a dunya perspective, Akhi, you get trash. The houses are so tight that you trip over your family members. The cracked needles are on the floor in the most prestigious places. SubhanAllah, it's disgusting.
SubhanAllah, Sheikh. So the whole system is rigged. Whole system is rigged.
And it's falling apart. And it's falling apart.
Right? It's getting worse and worse, Sheikh. It's getting worse.
So, Sheikh, coming back to this historical anomaly, right? Because people just want to understand. Okay, so it was affordable after World War II for the reasons that we've mentioned. Now it's not affordable. Why? What happened? What's making the situation different? Because we've been able to afford houses for like 20, 30 years. And
all this time, what happened now?
And there was no World War. As in, okay, that was at the beginning, but then since then, something happened that allowed us to carry on this system, right? And carry on buying more and more and more and more and more. But why has things changed now?
So there are 4 primary reasons, Chef. Number 1 being supply constraint.
Okay.
So all these red tapes when it comes to zoning laws. And I was just telling one of our guys today in the office, in order to change something in the US in terms of zoning, what needs to be done, sometimes it will take you 20 years. But the change needs to be done today. By the time the change is done, because so much bureaucracy.
Just explain what zoning is for the people.
For example, Sheikh, in LA, the city, Los Angeles, in California, 75% of the land is zoned for single family houses to be built. Okay, we get it. Now let's look at the math. So in single family homes, one house is one family versus an apartment, same space you're taking off the land, you're building vertically. It could be, inshallah, 100 families, 200 families, right? So now when you're allocating the same size of land for only one family, and that's the zoning, like you cannot change it. Like nobody's even looking into changing it. I don't know if somebody's looking into changing it, but it's very difficult to change it. What happens then? Who are going to build on these lands? Builders and developers, right? Now, builders and developers are business people, capitalists. They want to maximize on their profit because you're only allowing them to build villas in Dubai term or single family houses in American term. So now they want to maximize. They don't want to build something that's not an attractive product. So they are building luxury products in LA. Okay. So their margin is higher. The sales price is higher. Their ICP, ideal customer profiles, are people who are banking, who can come and give them big checks, 30, 40, $50 million houses. That's all they're building. Then who's getting left out, Sheikh?
All the poor people.
All the poor people, the middle class. Nobody is building for them. You see how the problem starts from zoning. And you're forcing the builders to buy only single-family houses. So, of course, they're motivated by profit. That's what capitalistic society is. You don't care about anything else. You just want to maximize your profit. That's your goal. So for them to maximize their profit, they'll build luxury villas, luxury single-family homes where people can pay premium price and their margin is premium. And that's 75% of the city. But is 75% of the city affluent people? No. Is 75% of the city wealthy people? No. Is 75% of the city even rich people who make more than 250 grand a year? No. It's majority middle class.
What about other states, other cities?
So this is just an example that I was looking into, Sheikh. I researched, but most big cities, that's how it is.
Oh, wow.
So supply constraint is the reason. Why are the supply constraint happening? This is one reason why it's happening.
That's so stupid. Why not just change the zoning rules?
Because, Sheikh, it's democracy. So everybody has a say in it. Even if you understand
so I guess it's probably lobbyists, isn't it? Like wealthy people that want to keep it that way.
Yes, that's one side. And there's ignorant people in the council. They have no idea. They have never run some of them don't even run their household properly. Forget about running a company or a business corporation or a city.
I think this is one thing that it just took me so long to realize, because you know the whole concept of authority, right?
Yeah.
When someone is in a position of authority, you naturally tend to respect them, trust their judgment when they say something. You know, like back in the day, they would just, I think even today, they would sell supplements. Well, the guy on screen is wearing a lab coat. They're not saying he's a doctor, but he looks like a doctor.
Yeah.
So you're just inclined to buy it.
The infomercials, yes.
I think they were doing this for cigarette advertisements as well. A few decades ago in America, and they got banned.
Wow.
So they would sell cigarettes.
With lab coats on.
Lab coats.
And your perception is reality.
Right? So likewise, like what's the highest authority in a country? It's the government.
Yeah.
Right? So you naturally think,
they know better.
Know what they're doing. So it's just taking me a while to just realize, actually, they're so stupid.
Yeah.
As in, and it makes sense, right? When you live in a democracy, bro, a guy who was a rapper talking about how he would buy and sell drugs, or a vlogger who would, do inappropriate pranks on the street, is now running for office or running for a position as an MP or a mayor. And
even taking one level below that, forget about him running.
Yeah.
What gives him the authority even to decide who should be running?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So let's say he's not running, but he has the same vote as the guy who is far ahead than him in understanding and wisdom.
Yeah.
He gets one vote, this guy gets one vote. So automatically for me, the system is broken and rigged.
Oof. And there's so much bureaucracy trying to get one thing done. That's why because we're going to talk about Dubai in a second, right? But that's why there's such a big contrast. Like here, the country, the leader of the city is a CEO.
Sheikh, what I say, tell people what in America takes 8 years, here it takes 8 minutes.
And that's actually true.
It's true. For example, same pothole I've been seeing on my street in Michigan. And alhamdulillah, I lived in a nice neighborhood. I always tell this story to people. Not 8 years, but like 2.5 years. Same pothole, same spot. Nobody came, nobody bothered. People called, nothing happened. We're coming. And this is a $2 million plus neighborhood. Like all the houses are $1.5 million and up. Okay. So it's not a bad neighborhood. It's a suburb.
It's a good.
Yeah. Here, Sheikh, I think if you and I report next day, it gets done. If there's a pothole, And if the sheikh reports, if he sees something, it's like in 8 minutes. It gets,
and he'll actually walk around the city.
He actually walks around to see. He shows up at places at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 5 a.m., random times just to see what's going on.
And this is just, we're just talking as a matter of fact. There's just, as in, there's more competence when you're living in a country that's not run in that democratic way.
Yes, absolutely, Sheikh. And you have to live by the brand in a country where
it's run as a business.
And they are living by the brand.
Yeah.
Sheikh does not have any security guards.
Yeah.
When he's roaming around, people see him all the time in downtown, in the IFC. Oh, he's right there, you know?
And that shows the...
we're selling safety. And I'm the brand ambassador. I live by it. You know, it's like I'm selling supplements by Cheetos at home. That doesn't work.
Even the whole concept of, we're going off on a bit of a tangent here, but the whole concept of multiculturalism, like right now, in the UK, everyone's angry because there's immigrants.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And here there's more immigrants than there are locals.
But Sheikh,
but it's not cohesive.
7-3. Ratio is 7-3.
That's crazy, right?
Yep.
But there's so much cohesion and everyone's thriving despite being from different backgrounds, cultures, different, like... And by the way, I'm talking purely in a dunya sense here, right? As in, because we're talking just
business and
so on and so forth. And like, business is thriving here.
Yes.
Like, as in, people don't feel like I'm being undercut or left out and so on and so forth. So again, goes back to the point that we mentioned that system is just imploding on itself.
100%. Sure.
But you were telling us there's 4 things. So the first one is...
First, supply constraint. And why there is supply constraint, we just mentioned one reason, Sheikh. It could be a 4-hour podcast because it's a macroeconomic thing. Why there is a supply constraint. We just mentioned one reason where government has to take the blame for it. Second reason would be just affordability, demand from the buyer side. So there's supply constraint and then there is issues with demand because housing prices, interest rate, everything is made for you to buy a house with mortgage. Interest rates have gone up. Income has not gone up. So like the data you mentioned, Sheikh, before you could afford a house with 2.2x of your income. Now it's 5.9x of your income and you still cannot find a decent house.
So it's more than 2 times more expensive.
3 times, Sheikh, almost
3 times.
2 to 6 almost.
Okay, makes sense. And by the way, that's with inflation.
And another important point, Sheikh, population.
As in, if you compare it to what it was back then,
it's night and day, Sheikh.
It's probably like 10, 15 times more expensive than what your grandfather purchased it for.
100%, Sheikh. This is without the inflation. And again, U.S. population was, in 1950, it was 150 million people. Now it's 330 million people.
Okay.
So there's not enough supply, plus the population has increased. And you know what's the crazy part, what people miss? Okay, so before each household had 5+ people.
Okay.
Each household. Now it's 1.9 in America.
Okay.
So 330 million people need more units today than if there were 330 million people in 1950. You get the math,
I get the
right?
maths.
Because 1.9 versus 6 people living in one house versus 2 people, let's say. There's no 1.9, right? So 2 versus 6. So you right now need 3 times more the units, even if the population was the same. But the population has doubled.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's unbelievable. Because it was not well planned out. It was a fluke. It was not well planned out. This was not meant to sustain. But it has gone on for so long and people got used to being middle class and they just thought it's going to last forever. But middle class is, as we know it today, it's disappearing and it's going to disappear. It's going to be wealthy and poor. And that's how it has been throughout the history.
So we're going to come to that. But what's the third thing?
So the third thing is the debt trap, right? It's the mortgage trap. So before, when they popularized mortgage and everything, interest rates were under control because that's what decides what your mortgage payment will be. Now the interest rates have gone up significantly, but your income has not gone up as much. So wages has not gone up as much as the housing expense, right? So for example, housing expense before used to be around the 2000s, $1,700. Now it's like $3,400 per month, almost doubled. Same house, same price, because just because the interest rate has gone up. But has your income doubled? No. So it's a debt trap. And just because to meet the American dream, meet the status, and that's why we talk about mindset, all this stuff. Like most people, when you ask them, why did you buy a house? It's literally, my cousin did. You know, and my father has been telling me what you've been doing. Dad is saying, what you're doing. My brother's son bought a house. What are you doing here? You know? So he has to...
Such a good marketing campaign this was, man. Just people mindlessly like zombies buying houses.
Yes, absolutely. So the status trap equals to debt trap, and wealthy people. So poor people are always thinking, how can I save money? Middle class people are always thinking, how can I build credit? Because I have to buy everything on credit. Buy now, pay later, mortgage, credit, house, lease, everything is on credit. And real wealthy people is like, how do I buy back time? And that's the mindset shift, Sheikh. Poor is focusing on saving time. Wealthy is focusing on saving time. Money. Poor is saving money. Wealthy is saving time and multiplying time, buying back time, not only saving. And a middle class, poor middle class, not saving money, not saving time. They're just working on, how do I build my credit? What's your credit score? Sheikh, alhamdulillah, I'm in such a blessed position. I don't know, when was the last time somebody asked me, what's your credit score? Alhamdulillah, I have assets. Alhamdulillah, I'm living a good life. And I'm talking even in the US, not in Dubai, even from the US. I forgot when was the last time somebody asked me, what's your credit score? But that's your middle class chases. How do I improve my credit score? How do I build it? And there's nothing wrong in having a great credit score through paying your bills on time, utility, like all the bills you have. Like, we're not encouraging you to have a horrible credit score. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a commitment, what is a credit score? If I borrow Sheikh $100,000 from you, like, you're measuring me. If I tell you I'm going to give it back to you in 6 months, let's say in installments, that's my credit score.
Yeah.
Now, if I, let's say, paid on time, give it back to you, my credit score to you is like A+, man. This guy's good. I'm going to give him more money next time when he asks. Oh, he wants to invest in business share. Like, that is credit score, right? So we're not encouraging it, like, don't worry about credit. Like, have a good credit score. If you commit to something, do it. But credit score to get more debt, and this is all your life is about, is of course not something we endorse.
Even if ribba wasn't in it, it would be stupid.
Yeah, exactly, Sheikh.
Okay. And the fourth thing?
Fourth thing, Sheikh, is where big players coming. And basically, they monetize on the situation.
Okay.
They scoop up not houses, not blocks, neighborhoods. They scoop up neighborhoods. So when Blackstone comes to buy a house, they're not buying a house. They're not buying a block of house, 5 blocks of house. They're saying, what is that community? How much is it worth? We're buying the whole community.
Okay.
And they jack up the prices. Then they are the landlords and they rent out. And they decide the price because now they own majority. And that's why only right now, 30% of all the houses sold as of last quarter, 30% is a big number of all the houses sold in America as of last quarter. I forgot if it's last quarter or the first half of the year. One of the two was picked up by institutional investors.
So, like Blackstone.
And many others.
So I don't understand. Why do they increase the price like that? Like, how can they just arbitrarily increase the price?
Not arbitrarily, Sheikh, because that's monopoly. So if you're kicking out all the buyers from a particular area because you're scooping up, you have control on the price, then you decide not to sell them.
So what do you do?
So the prices are up because it's supply and demand. There's not enough supply again because you have scooped up all.
So
and you're holding it from the marketplace.
Oh, wow.
You have the inventory, you're not putting it in the market.
Intentionally.
So
the price goes up.
Yeah.
Because the demand goes up.
Yes. Oh. And then they do it the other way around.
They artificially restrict the supply.
Yep.
Which then causes the demand to...
Yes. And then it happens the reverse way too, Sheikh. When, subhanAllah, when people lose jobs, which has started happening in America, more than like every other household I speak to, either the overtime shift has been cut. I'm talking about blue collar workers, middle class, or their hours have been reduced, or they've just been laid off. So it's coming. It takes time for the data to catch up. US has added the least amount of number of jobs for like X number of years, I think since Biden or something, recently. So what it means is that when people don't have jobs, they can't pay their mortgage. There will be foreclosures. And on foreclosures, that's when there's a Black Friday sale. Everything is going for cheap. But who's going to buy them? The middle class is already flushed out of the money. They don't have money. Even if it's on sale, I don't have money to buy anymore because it's a high ticket item. Yeah, it's $300,000 worth house. Now it's for $200,000. But brother, I don't even have $200. So who comes and buy these houses at discount? Only the institutional investors. So they pay both sides.
So I want to go to this concept of recession and the Black Friday sale for the wealthy, because it's not just institutional investors. It's also people that maybe are not institutional investors like Blackstone, but they've got savings. They've got money. They can get involved now, right? And I think this is a time where the middle class has to act. if you have savings, you have money. We talked about this in a lot of detail in our episode on taxes as well.
Yep.
I want to just dive into this. So I want to understand recession, what it is. I want to talk about how those who actually have money can capitalize on this. And those are in the middle class right now, what they could possibly do to protect themselves. Because this is the squeeze now. So first and foremost, we hear this word a lot. What is a recession?
Yeah.
And are we in one or is it coming?
So recession, the actual definition is when a country's GDP does not grow for 2 quarters in a row.
Okay, a GDP is?
Gross domestic product, basically input. Basically the country, the whole production of the country.
Okay.
Everything that it produces.
Is that materials, products, services?
Everything, including services, including technology, including everything.
So in essence,
products. Yeah.
Goods sold.
Goods sold, if it does not increase for 2 quarters in a row, you're in a recession. That's the actual definition. But again, Sheikh, for any governments that coming in America, they come in for 4 years.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be the guy known for, okay, during his term, there was a recession, right? So they do everything. And, we don't have to get into that in this podcast because it's a huge topic. They do everything to manipulate the numbers. Play with numbers, because I just have to show that the GDP has not slowed down for 2 quarters in a row. But how do you actually know if you're in a recession or no? When you're in the grounds, when you're in the trenches. And I've been in the trenches, at least in Michigan market, for a long time.
So you're saying that definition is a relative one?
Already skewed.
Okay, skewed. So then we shouldn't look at that as an indicator.
Not necessarily. When they agree by definition, it's already too late. That's what I'm saying, Shah. So when they announce we're officially in recession, it's already too late because they have no other choice but to admit it now. But it's been in the works, right? So how do you see it? Primary factor, ask your family and friends. Do they make the same money today they were making last year, 2 years, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, right after the COVID, pre-COVID? No. Some people are losing jobs. Their hours are getting reduced. Their contracts, they're being laid off. IT guys are being laid off in Michigan, right and left. So when these job losses happen, Sheikh, what it leads to is recession. When it leads to recession, people cannot afford their mortgage payment. What happens is that's when, because the wealthy follow these trends, these market cycles.
So I just want to make sure we don't lose the people. This is very powerful because if GDP is a measure of how many things are being sold, if that's not growing, that means these companies are not making money, which means they will cut your hours.
100%.
Or they will lay you off.
Because consumer is not spending anymore.
Because consumer is not spending, right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to carry on keeping people at the same salary.
They can't.
If you're not making money.
Yep.
That's a very powerful way to identify.
Yep.
That means the UK is in a recession.
Yes. 100%. And the
UK is deep in recession, right?
First guys should know, ask the retail business owners. We have many Muslim business owners.
Yeah.
They're the first ones to know if you're in a recession or no. Because they're the first ones. They do their P&L every month. They see how much cards were swiped, right? When people stop swiping their cards, it reduces month over month. You already know it's coming. They're not coming to your restaurant anymore every day. They're coming now once a week. Now they're splitting the bill. Before one guy's like, I'm going to take care of the bill. Now they're looking at each other. Who's going to take it? Now then they stop coming once a month and they stop coming. So the restaurant guys, all these retail guys, now they're not coming to buy your, like let's say people vape a lot. Now that's the first habit they get rid of. They stop vaping, not because they're conscious of their health, but these are good indicators. When these smoke shops reduce their sales, people know it's coming.
So you believe we are in a recession, as in the USA we are in a recession?
Either we are or we're very close to it. We're very close to it.
Okay. So why is that so bad? Like, as in, what are the drastic consequences that our audience should consider if we are in a recession in the context of this discussion that we're having today?
That's a deep question, Sheikh. I think first thing is, of course, that's where, like, so many things we could talk about, Sheikh. That's why we have to be prepared with multiple skills, all those things that, that our jobs, I tell people, even me as a founder and CEO, my job is not secured. I can get fired any day. If I'm not keeping up with the trends and if I'm not keeping up with what's going on, I can get fired any day. What about you? Right? So we have to keep adding skills and, all those other things. But let's say from a financial perspective, this is when wealth transfer happens. And in our, at least, lifetime, for the guys or us who were born in the 90s, let's say, Sheikh, or the late 80s, in our lifetime, it happened twice. 2008 and 2020. Major wealth transfers. Okay. So in 2008, when the Great Recession happened, when everybody lost their jobs, people left their houses, literally left and walked out with all the furnitures and everything. They couldn't afford to even move their furnitures to a storage or do something. They just left, right? When that happened, again, who came in? All these big and powerful guys. The wealthy people came, or people became wealthy because the perfect animal to compare it with is like crocodiles, Sheikh. You know, they sit like crocodiles. They don't move. You don't even know if they're actually a rock or a stone or an animal. Then you don't know if they're alive. They're just like sitting and staring. Have you seen a crocodile? Before its attack, it's so alive, so scary. I'm like the most scared because it doesn't move. You don't know what's in its mind. Then when it comes out of the water, Sheikh, takes you.
What an analogy.
It takes you, Sheikh. And Warren Buffett is a crocodile right now. He's sitting with cash in his arsenal, Sheikh. Nobody knows why doesn't he spend and deploy. I think now people are starting to figure out why hasn't he deployed the cash yet. He's waiting for that Black Friday sale. He's waiting like a crocodile. He's not moving.
Oof.
You know, crocodile comes from the dinosaur species, right, Sheikh? So it's like a dinosaur, just sitting. Sometimes it's a game of who can sit longer without moving, without deploying anything, you know? And he's playing that game. He has more cash. Berkshire Hathaway has more cash than top 3 companies combined, like Amazon, Tesla, and Apple. He has more cash on hand, like combining their cash. The point being, all these people are waiting for this event to happen. While this like middle class is completely, and then they're talking about Sheikh, like this podcast we should do a part 2, I think, because it's not going to do justice. All these things they're talking about AI, universal basic income. AI is also coming and taking people's jobs. We thought our plumber uncle's job's going to go away first, but he's still chilling. It's the guy who went to university.
So knowledge work jobs.
Yeah, the English researcher.
Yeah.
The political scientist, you know, like random arts subject, Sheikh, right? So their jobs are being taken away. So from many angles, people will be in distress. And when that distress happens, there will be some people who will take advantage of the situation because they have been playing on the other side. They haven't been playing victim. They have been playing the game.
SubhanAllah, Sheikh, this is actually, I think the best, and I'm not just saying it, I've seen so many videos on this, so many debates, discussions on this topic of recession. I feel like people talk about it as if people understand. But this is, I think, one of the best articulations of what recession is and what it actually means for people.
So, Chef, we try because we're in the grounds, right? So, and that's the best way to know what's happening to an economy.
The key takeaway here is, number one, don't engage in ribba, because this is literally like a manifestation of the ayah where Allah said that Allah Azza wa Jal is yamhaqullahu riba. Allah is destroying riba. This is why this wealth that was all caught up in riba is being destroyed. Do you know what I'm saying? And the middle class is holding up a lot of riba, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's literally wiping out an entire class. But the second thing is those who have capital, real cash you're sitting on, savings, this is a time to invest.
That's the contrast with UAE, Sheikh.
Yeah.
That's the contrast with UAE. The major West is 65 to 70% in mortgage. And that's the Dubai dream, Sheikh. Only 10-12% buyers are in mortgage. And even that, they have 40% equity in their houses. So when a life-changing event like this happens, they're least likely to just leave their house, pack up and go because they have minimum 40% equity in the house versus the guys in the US, 3%. Okay, take it. I'm going to leave the house and go.
No, so absolutely. So I think that's why it's more important now than ever for people to start looking for these opportunities, right? And may Allah reward you for bringing this online, because most people, they do these deals privately behind closed doors. That's one of the things that we've seen, right? Even inside of our network, people just chasing those deals, those opportunities that no one else has access to.
100%, Sheikh. And it's both ways. It's happening in the network. I've benefited from things that you should pursue and things you should not pursue.
You should not pursue, yeah.
Right? You ask a brother, okay, this is a deal that came to my table with so-and-so company. What do you think? What should I do? It's like, oh, let me introduce you to 3 guys who have dealt with them. Ask them, how's their experience? And like, okay, those 3 guys, they're like, bro, stay 1,000 miles away from this company. So you had just saved, Even if it's simple, even if you were not to go for it, you just saved an hour Zoom call and like cognitive overload, right? You're like, Habibi, I'm done, right? So even things that you should not do.
Yeah.
I'll quickly mention our Dallas investment. People won't mention that, but I invested quite a bit of money in Dallas in a housing project similar to what we do, but with a developer, we invested. Nothing his fault. He did everything right, Sheikh. Great brother. Construction quality, fantastic. It was supposed to be only a 12-month project, where expected IRR for me was 15 to 18%. I was supposed to make ROI in 12 months. It took 26 months, and I only made 5.5%.
And it was supposed to be?
12 months, 18%. It became 26 months, 5.5%. So I actually lost money because of inflation, and dollar devaluation. Even dollars got devalued.
So I was going to say, so you actually lost money.
I actually lost money, but nothing in his control, because the economy is so fixated or fluctuates so much with interest rate. Because the interest rate went up from 3.5% to 8%. So buyers' affordability went down. So the same guys that he was banking on, or we were banking on, are going to buy our house, could not buy our house because it's not affordable anymore. So we had to keep reducing price until we made nothing.
Sheikh, with that said, we actually have a due diligence call with a potential investor right now.
Yes. So I was just texting him actually.
Yeah, so it's not just real estate. It's also potentially investing in other asset classes.
Which we will verify and do due diligence first. If it's worth it, we'll bring it to everyone, inshallah.
Inshallah. I really enjoyed this conversation. I think we need to talk about this in a lot more detail, inshallah.
Yes.
We definitely need to do a part 2, maybe even revisit this from different angles.
Yes.
Guys, in the comments, let us know if you would like us to, let us know which particular part you want us to go into, because I think every single segment here, we could have just done an episode on it.
Yeah.
So let us know what you want to know more about, and we will do that for you, inshallah.
Inshallah. Always great spending time with you.
Allah bless you, Sheikh, man. With that said, if you guys are interested in speaking to Sam's team, inshallah, about the projects here, he's got some very interesting stuff. I'm not sure if we're allowed to mention Dubai Islands. We can bleep it out if not.
Yes. We'll do a proper video.
Okay, we'll bleep it out. There's some more opportunities.
Inshallah.
Now the Majan land has been closed, alhamdulillah. If you guys are interested, please book a call, inshallah ta'ala. With that said, see you next week. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.